So, you think you can afford a house here in South Florida, huh? Well, you can forget it, unless, of course, you have the money for it. Yeah, a lot of people want to live in Florida. We're known for our warm temperatures, beautiful beaches, and yes, the fun parties. That's why the Sunshine State, though, has led the nation in the number of people moving in from other states for the past 5 years. Oh, sure, Florida looks like a fun place to live, and it is. But the real estate isn't quite as sunny and bright as the weather is. Buying a home has never been an easy task, especially for first-time home buyers. But what's made it even tougher has been the huge uptick in home prices. If you're in the Miami area, get this. You now need to make a whopping 25% more in income if you want to buy that median starter home. That means you have to bring in about $79,500 each year to afford the typical $300,000 starter home. Crunch those numbers. That's up 24.8% compared to last year. It's a lot of money. Now, a little farther to the north of Miami in Fort Lauderdale, home buyers have it even worse because you need to make $58,300 per year in order to buy a moderately priced $220,000 starter home. That's a 28% increase over last year, the largest uptick in all of the 50 most populous metro areas. Now, there is some good news here. Prices have stayed relatively steady. The bad news is they're still pretty high to begin with. But if you do have the money to pay these high prices, the first thing you need to think about is the additional costs, your living expenses. Mortgage rates, they're holding steady around 7% right now. So yes, if you can't afford the mortgage, what you need to do now is factor in what you're spending on your other essentials and compare it with other areas across the state. That's things like gas, food, clothing, health insurance. Do you have children? Education costs, and any other expenses that you're going to have to pay each month as well. Once you've done that, once you've found your spot, the next best thing you can do is get pre-approved for a mortgage. A pre-approval letter is going to do two things. It's going to go a long way because it not only lets you know how much you can afford to pay for that home, but it lets the sellers know you're more serious about your offer. After you've secured the pre-approval and picked out that dream starter home, the next thing on your list is negotiate. If you have a real estate agent, make sure you work with them. Ask them plenty of questions and make sure you don't overpay for that home. Homeowners insurance is also something to factor in, and you won't be able to move forward without it. Unfortunately, the cost has skyrocketed as the state faces an insurance crisis that you need to keep in mind. So yeah, it's hard and it's expensive to buy a house in South Florida, but hopefully these tips can help you out. I'm Chris Anderson. Happy house hunting.